Hi, I'm Julian Yosh. In this video, I will show you how to run Apache Nutch on Amazon Elastic MapReduce. Okay, so as you probably know, I assume in this for this tutorial that you already know a little bit about Apache Nutch, and you're aware that it runs on Apache Hadoop. So if not, then please have a look at some of the tutorials found on the wiki pages as a starting point, and then get back to this one once you understand a little bit better how it interacts with Hadoop. So we want to use AWS EMR, Elastic MapReduce, to deploy a cluster that we can just spin and then terminate once we're finished. And I'll show you how to do that with Nutch and the way I usually operate with Nutch when I want to use Elastic MapReduce. There are probably other ways of doing, but that's the one I personally am the most comfortable with. So we need to spin a Elastic MapReduce cluster. So obviously you need an account at Amazon for doing so. So let's start. So first I'll just go on the Elastic MapReduce screen. These are some old clusters, we're not going to use them, and we'll create a brand new one. So let's go to the advanced options first. We'll call this one Nutch. We don't want to protect against termination. We don't want to log either. Now we will let's specify a version. So of the AMI. So these are the images used by the EC2 instances and the overall configuration of Elastic MapReduce. We will go for version 3.9. The reason for that is that this gives us the version of Hadoop 2.4.0, which is the one currently supported by Nutch. So we don't need Hive, we don't need Big, file system. Yeah, that's fine. You can use the default. Of course, all these can be, some of these can be tuned and modified according to your needs. So that's all fine. Now, because this is just an example, we'll just keep it very, very simple. So we'll just keep the the default instant types suggested here. Again, you can tune a bit. One thing you could do would be to use spot instances if you wanted to lower the cost of running the cluster. Obviously, you have to bear in mind, if you do so, that the instances could be terminated if the asking price is above the one you set. Now let's select an EC2 key pair, and this is really important. You have to do that, at least in the method I'll be demonstrating here, because we'll need to connect to the master node of the EMR cluster via SSH. So here I selected my key pair, and then that's it. We don't need any bootstrap actions. As for the steps, the method I'm using is not based on steps. So with Elastic MapReduce, you can pretty find actions, and these actions are sort of executed on the cluster. We're not going to do that because we will use the standard crawl scripts coming with Nutch from the master node. So let's create the cluster. That might take a bit of time, but let's see. Okay, so our Elastic MapReduce cluster is now up and running. Let's see how we can connect to it. This is the address of the master node. So what we want to do is to connect to that node, to the master node. So I just need to change something. So that's the key I declared initially when I set up the EMR cluster. So I'll just do yes. So I'll first Here we are. So I've just connected to the master node. So there's a few things we need to do. The first one is to install Apache Ant, which we'll need for here it's already installed, but which we need for the for compiling Nutch. So here is what we want to achieve. We will use a very simple set of URLs, just as an example. It's not, this scroll has no practical purpose apart from illustrating how to use Elastic MapReduce and Nutch. So I have prepared a seed file which is on Amazon S3. So we could actually try and see if we can set using the Hadoop the HDFS command. So it's in the bucket called Nutch Elastic MapReduce tutorial. It's publicly available, so you should be able to get it as well. But any set of seeds will do. Right, so we can see two things. I put a Nutch site file, so the configuration for Nutch, and also the that set of seeds. So we'll leave the seeds where they are. We can actually just for playing, we can display these seeds. So they are the top 1,000 most popular domain names. So again, that's good as a starting point. What we want to show here is Nutch excels at doing very large crawls on a large scale. And Elastic MapReduce is a good tool for that. It gives us, with a few clicks, as we've seen, we can spin a nice big Hadoop cluster. I used Elastic MapReduce and EC2 for some customers for doing crawls with Nutch, and we had hundreds of nodes, and Nutch was very robust even back in those days. Now I will just show you that Nutch site file. So this is the configuration we will use for a crawl. Doesn't seem to be. I'll just download it here, and I'll just put it on here. It's just because it will be a bit nicer to show from there. So that's what it looks like. We need at least an HTTP agent, so I put just Pebble Crawler. Please do not use these. Use your own agent names and agent email, because if you do, you feel very naughty when you're crawling and you're not very polite. Otherwise, I'll be the one getting all the insults and blame. Otherwise, these are the standard. Again, I assume you're familiar with Nutch, so you will recognize most of these properties. So that's the delay between HTTP requests, various other things here, the content limit, so we don't restrict it on the size of the content that we pull. We don't restrict on the outlinks per page, and what we want to do here, we'll use the scoring depth plugin, and that's the parameter which says, okay, we won't go further than 3 steps from the seeds. So it's a nice way of limiting the scope of our crawl, and also we don't want to venture too far and expand too far, so we'll just limit the external links. So we'll consider only internal links within all the pages crawled. So let's install Nutch. So we'll get let's take the latest version of the trunk from GitHub. So the reason I'm doing this is that, so again, I do that from the master node. I'll do get. So from the master node, I download the trunk. Don't do that from your own machine. So the master node is on Linux. So you could do everything else from Windows. Doesn't matter, as long as you can SSH to the master. Now we've downloaded the trunk version of Nutch, and yeah, I was about to say the reason we do this is that the current release, which as we speak is 1.10, is still based on an old version of Hadoop. This trunk, so we are mid-November 2015, and we've just upgraded to Hadoop 2.4, which is why we selected that specific version of EMR earlier. So let's unzip our that trunk file, and we now have a new directory, a Nutch trunk, and that will be our starting point. So we need two things here. Actually, we need three things. First, we have installed Ant, so we will be able to compile the code. Now we want to download this configuration file, the Nutch site one. So sorry, I keep changing windows. So let's reuse that Hadoop command. So it lives in that S3 bucket. So we can use this the AGFS command for doing that, but let's just copy Nutch site, and we'll tell it to copy it to conf Nutch site.xml. So what I'm doing here, I'm copying that file straight into the configuration directory of Nutch. So let's check that it's been put there correctly. There's no reason why it wouldn't, but you never know. Yeah, that's fine. So everything's in there. Right. Also, another thing we want to modify is we want to modify. First, let's compile the code. So by doing this ant command, we are compiling the classes and everything, and also putting all the resources. So by resources, I mean this Nutch site file I just created, and also some URL filters and parse filters and whatnot. We'll put all that, the ant command will put all that in a big jar file, and that's what we'll be using to run the Nutch commands, and it will also create all the right environment for us. So yeah, it takes a bit of time at the beginning to load all the dependencies, but it should be ready pretty soon. Okay, so it's building it has downloaded all the dependencies and everything. It's now building the job jar, and we should now be ready to crawl. So we want to go to runtime, deploy bin. Very important, if we do runtime local bin, we won't be running on the Hadoop cluster per se. We'll be just running, simulating in local mode, which defeats the purpose of using EMR. Let's edit the crawl script. So the crawl script provides just a very standard crawl by combining the various Nutch steps. So it's basically a big loop that says, okay, generate the segments, or inject the seeds, generate the segments, fetch them, parse, update, and so on. So it's fine for a general purpose crawl. You might want to customize this file. So one thing we'll change the number of slaves. Remember, we created two instances in the S2 instances in the EMR cluster, so we might as well just use them all. So let's do that. Exit. Great. Now we're almost ready to go. One last thing I want to do is I want to be able to visualize the progress of the crawl, and for that, so I go back to my Elastic MapReduce screen, and I select I'll open an SSH tunnel. So I'll do like so, SSH, and then my key and tunnel, and that's it. So all the instructions are given here, and then I use Foxy Proxy to pass through the tunnel, and good. And now this gives me the links to two web applications. One is the HDFS information, so there's currently nothing on HDFS, not super useful, and that's the one we want to keep an eye on. So this is my Yarn UI, and that will show me all my various tasks and jobs. Great. Now let's start the crawl. So again, we on Nutch trunk runtime deploy bin. We have modified the crawl script. Now let's find this seed file of ours. So we said, this is what the one we want to use. So crawl script, we're not going to index. So in the configuration and Nutch side, we could have configured an index. So it could be Solr or Elasticsearch or Cloud Search, Amazon Cloud Search. The great thing about using Amazon Cloud Search is that from Elastic MapReduce, it will be cheaper and fast as well. But we're not going to do the indexing. Again, what I want to show you on this one, is just how to proceed with Elastic MapReduce. So we'll pass the seed path. So we'll just give it this. It will take it straight from S3. So there's no need to even to copy it locally to the master node. We probably need to create a directory for on HDFS. So okay, so it doesn't know about anything at all. So okay, so actually, well, that should work. So I'm creating a directory here, and now I can call my crawl script and tell it to put all the data that crawl directory on HDFS, which will be replicated across the nodes and everything. So we have the seeds, we have the crawl there. Now number of rounds will just set to -1, which means unrestricted. Go for as long as needed, and that's it. So we can see on the console the various some log information about the various steps. So you can see it's injecting. Now what I want to see is I want to see that on my Hadoop UI. So that gives me a way of monitoring the progress of the crawl, and not only, it's also extremely useful for seeing additional information about it. So I can see the logs per task, per job obviously, and per task, and also I can see the logs here, and I can see the counters, which gives me valuable insight into how things are going. So yeah, it has finished injecting my 1000 URLs. Okay, so it's now reducing on a reduce step. Well, let's go to overview. Okay, so the injection is finished. It will now start the following task, which is the generation, and so on. So then from here it's just a standard Nutch crawl where we can monitor things within the UI. So all this is running on EMR. We didn't have to configure anything as far as Hadoop is concerned. All we had to do is SH to the master, download Nutch, customize Nutch in the usual ways. Very often you have a clone of the Nutch source with your own resources and configuration and everything, and just and then pull it from the master before compiling it, as I did. Great. Well, I hope you found this tutorial useful, and yeah, happy crawling. Thank you.